Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Fallout. Well, after the last two chapters of trying and failing to clean up the hub and only managing to clear out the friendly loan company, I've decided that I'm going to try and do something a little bit riskier, but maybe slightly less suicidal this time around. We're going to finally tackle the glow. Now, I've sold off all my excess gear to Mrs. Stapleton, the librarian. Cleared out everything from my and Tycho's inventory except for my shotgun and my Desert Eagle. He's still running around with a sniper rifle and brass knuckles. Spiked brass knuckles, no less. So, thanks for the help, buddy, but I guess time to part ways. A honor and privilege. And Tycho should be safe hanging out here as we get ready to hit the road. Now, I could actually bring Tycho with me. I don't think the game charts radiation damage for your companions, but some things a man must do alone. And while this may not be one of them, well, I've been wrong about so much stuff in this game from what I remember. Now, down here is where the glow is. And yeah, if I manage to get through this whole area without a random encounter, I will be very surprised. Well, how about that? Okay, so we're here, and we are immediately taking radiation damage. Luckily, we got our handy Rad-X that increases our radiation resistance. 2 pills will be enough to get us up to fighting shape. And we put one of our ropes in our inventory because there's nothing on this screen apart from the big crater. And nothing to do here except search a bunch of corpses that have nothing. And set up a rope. Now, the tricky thing is that, big surprise, it turns out that the center of the glow is an abandoned vault. These corpses appear to have been here for some time. Now, there's not much in the way of loot in the glow, but there's also not much in the way of enemies. And if you're very clever, you can get through this whole area without having a single fight. Which is fortunate, because what is here can be very difficult for you to face, depending upon what you've been picking up along the way. Got some Radaway, that could be incredibly useful. Okay, nothing in that locker. And a stim pack in that locker. Can never have enough of those. And you'll note that we have an elevator. And, oh yes, the floor here is booby-trapped. And the elevators have an electric field on them that shock you if you try and approach them without the right equipment. Thankfully, the right equipment is close at hand. And yes, just in case you somehow came here without knowing what drugs you needed and didn't get flash fried immediately, this does helpfully give us a little bit of Rad-X right away. Unfortunately, some of the random chair icons look exactly like dead bodies in the dark. And some of these rooms are just distractions. But you probably noticed this figure as we came in. Might look a bit familiar if you've played the other Fallout games. And yeah, another rotting chair. This door is welded too tight for you to open it. Okay, so we've got this fellow here. This seems strange. You think it may be what the Brotherhood sent you to retrieve. And a yellow passkey. Well, in fact, that is what we were sent to pick up, and if we wanted to, we could just grab this and go back to the Brotherhood, no problem. But we're going to do a little bit extra. Not the least of which because there's loot to be had. Now this lit up console here is the power management. Now the primary power not working because the generator on level 6 isn't working. But we can get the emergency power turned on, and you thought that this was a dark room before. Here we are with the emergency lights on. But now that we have that handy yellow card key, we can bypass the electric field and start moving down through the vault. Now you'll note that we have the console for this level right here, and you're thinking we should probably turn the power on. And we should, but not just yet, because here is where we run into the part where we have to get clever. Because you may notice these odd little figures right here in the next room. These are, in fact, robots. And we cannot talk to them because they are powered down. But were we to turn the power on, they would immediately activate and start trying to kill us as we're an intruder. But thankfully, we can cheat somewhat. So what we are going to do before we turn the power on... well, first I have to load. I completely forgot in my haste to get back into this that you can actually reload by cycling through your gun options. So, shot to the CPU. Shot to the sensors. Yeah, shotgun at point-blank range, not the best thing for accuracy. But we can keep blasting the head pretty easily. And I will still keep missing because I guess my small gun still 100% is not quite as good as it should be. 21 points, sparks fly, and the robot momentarily goes out of control, except it doesn't. And this is generally much more impressive when the robots are moving around able to fight back. But this is a case of working smarter and not harder. Because here's a fun little secret. You get XP if the robots are disabled, whether they're powered down or not. So we can kill the powered down robots. Yep, he's finally dead. And we get just as much XP for killing them this way as if we were fighting them in fair and honest combat. And those of you who have played Fallout 3 may recognize this particular baddie as what became known as the Robo-Brain. Here it still is just a sentry robot. And we killed it. I know this may be a bit tedious, but after 2 episodes of me getting repeatedly killed... Well, okay, it's still pretty tedious, but think how I feel having to keep shooting these things and think of witty commentary for it so that I can entertain you, the dozen of people who watch my Let's Plays. You know, just for variety, this time let's actually try shooting the sensors. Broke the lenses, but it was only a 7-point hit. It was reading up above where it had 5, 6, 7. And yeah, that missed. Killed that one, and finally... Slightly better shot on the sensors on this one. System sensor malfunction, attempting bypass. 3 out of 4 is slightly better odds, but I'm still missing way more than I'd like to. Take that, censorship. Mwahaha. And the CPU again. There. Now this happily is all the robots we have on this level, and for having defeated them, we earn 1,425 points. So with that done, power management, emergency power, and we could disable it from here. Well, my bad. Actually, again, my recall is not perfect. I seem to remember that activating the emergency power on each level caused the robots to come to life. Actually, they don't kick back on until you reactivate the generator. Hey, rockets. And grenades. And I'm at maximum capacity and cannot pick up. Okay, well, since the explosives might be marginally more useful to us, in fact, I'll go ahead and stash all the gear that we don't absolutely need for the moment in here. Because that way I can come back and loot this place at my leisure, off camera later, and retrieve everything that I can't carry at once because I am a rather wimpy little guy. Case in point, I don't need this armor, but... Alright. So with that done, long hallway. Wait, did I see a corpse there? Nah. Must be imagining things. But there are some bodies in here. Another grenade. A plasma grenade and flamethrower fuel. Wow. That's less than useful to us. And here we got plastic explosives and dynamite. Which I don't have any explosive skill, but for what I need to blow up, I don't need it. And it looks like there's nothing in this one except another chair. Let's see, we got a dead card and another key card. And if we go to this most remote room, there is, well, nothing. But thankfully, the structure of this particular level is such that we can speed run around it pretty easily. Alright, so that's level 2 cleared. And we will need to use the yellow pass card again. And it's very subtle with the darkness palette, but you can actually see yellow over the elevator here. So we'll go down to level 3. And again, we have a panel with the secondary power offline. And another room full of robots who would totally jump us if they were active. But they are not, thankfully. Now this one I've actually got, well, I had 90% on the sensors, now it's 82. Yep, 3 shots was all it took that time. Move over here. Blast the Robo-Brain right in the head. And we'll go ahead and move to that one, since I don't want to waste the action points. Wow, got that one with a critical. I can move a step closer, looks like. Be right over this one. I love how we keep getting the descriptions of the robots going momentarily out of control while there's absolutely nothing to that effect happening on the screen. Now, for having killed those 3 robots, we earned 650 XP, and we just leveled. I'm going to finish up this last one first. But yeah, you can see what I mean about this being the slightly duller, but slightly smarter, or definitely smarter way of going through this level. Because robots don't have much in the way of vulnerability when it comes to regular bullets. And at this point in the game, with the exception of the energy pistol, that's probably all you've got. And over 300 XP for killing the harmless robot. Well, harmless at the moment. Well, with that done, I think we can go ahead and level up. Now we get to choose a perk this level. Unfortunately, we've gotten almost everything that's useful to us as a fast-talking man of non-violence. So we've got Animal Friend, which is that animals will not attack one of their friends unless the animal is threatened to attack first. Exactly what is an animal in this world is open to debate. Because, yeah, there's some things you'd think would be animals that will attack you anyway. So that's not very helpful, especially since from this point on, most of our enemies are going to be decidedly human-ish. Bonus hand-to-hand attacks. You have earned the secrets of the ancient arts of the East, or just punch faster. In any case, your hand-to-hand attacks cost 1 less action point to perform. Well, that would be great if I were a hand-to-hand person. Bonus move +1. Get another 2 free action points that are used for movement. Dodger, you're less likely to be hit in combat. If you have this perk, every level adds +5 to your armor class, in addition to the AC bonus from any armor you're wearing. Educated, you get 2 extra skill points when you gain a new level. Should have gotten that earlier, but there we are. The Mark of the Explorer is to search out new and interesting locations. With this perk, you have a greater chance of finding special places or people, so random encounters. Friendly Foe, characters that are part of your team are highlighted in green in combat instead of red. If you have this perk, red highlighted characters may still be non-hostile toward you. Yeah, if you lose track of which guy in the leather jacket is Ian, potentially useful, but Heave-Ho, it gives you an additional +2 strength for the purposes of determining range on throwing weapons. Mutate, the radiation of the waste has changed you. One of your traits has mutated into something else. And Presence, you command attention just by walking into a room. The initial reaction of a person is improved by 10% for every level you have. Well, I've got that pretty well. And Quick Pockets, you have learned to better store equipment on your person with each level of this perk. The AP cost to access inventory in combat is reduced by 1. I'm going to go ahead and take Dodger, because anything that makes me harder to hit can only be a benefit at this point. Because we don't really need that much more moving, and trying to change my traits at this point. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start buffing up energy weapons, because my science, speech, and small guns are all but maxed out. And you may have noticed that my repair is now at 90. My outdoorsman is at 82, and my first aid is at 85. I did spend most of my excess inventory that I didn't cash out with Mrs. Stapleton on trying to acquire more books. So every skill that you can max out with books, I've got pretty well developed for about as high as we're going to need it in this game. And here we have another classroom with another booby trap. And in case you're wondering, you see some very empty metal shelves, which they kindly tell you are in fact empty. And I love how they call this cave wall, even though it is, in fact, well, vault interior. And again, nothing much in this level, but over here we have an elevator with a reddish outline around it, you might note. But over here we've got more lockers. And what is in those lockers, you might ask? Well, we got some ammo, but I do not need that type anymore. And some 5mm AP. Now, this locker room. Hey, we found the drug stash. Got some Mentats and some Buff out in here. Medical supplies. And as long as we're in here, we'll go ahead and use a stim pack. Because even though we're not too badly wounded, I do have some hit points to max out after leveling. And I don't want to chance getting a critical on one of the traps that get sprung on me. Alright, well that takes us through level 3. And red door, red key card. Now this elevator will take us to either level 4 or level 6. We'll go ahead and go to level 4, just work our way down carefully and quietly. And I think this would be a good place for us to stop. And next time we will finish exploring this vault within the glow. We'll see you then.